First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News First at 5. I'm Macie Goldfarb.
And I'm Brenna Delong. Thanks for joining us. Gainesville Fire Rescue is investigating a GRU fire at the Deerhaven Power Plant complex on the north side of the city. No one was injured during the incident, GRU says. Workers were making repairs when the fire started around 3:30. Most of the damage was on the south side of a cooling tower for Deerhaven 2. The plant had been idled for the 18-month maintenance, and the fire did not penetrate inside the generating plant itself.
The Gainesville City Commission implements a new program to make sure people don't risk losing property they've inherited. City commissioners hope to decrease the number of properties that do not have a clear title. This situation generally arises when a group of people inherit a property from a family member who died without having made a will or a legal document clarifying the heir. The Inherited Property Assistance Program allows people living in specific neighborhoods to take advantage of Three Rivers Legal Services to assist with title property issues.
But you don't have clear title to that property because you're a 1/40th or a 1/8th or a 1/64th owner of that property. So the bank's not going to give you a loan to put that roof on your house. Now let's say a tornado comes through, hurricane comes through, and damages your house. Your neighbors, people across town, go to FEMA and get a payment from FEMA to help them renovate the property. You can't do that because you don't have clear title to your property. So eventually what happens is the home gets abandoned. It's sometimes it works out fine for several generations. Sometimes after a generation or two, the home just gets abandoned because you can't do the things, you're not able to unlock.
Ward encourages people to seek legal services to ensure they can take advantage of their rights as owners.
Almost 2 years after the pandemic began, the global supply chain is still hit and miss for certain items at grocery stores. And for car makers and dealerships, it's an ongoing problem. WUFT's Nicole Rodriguez shows us the situation for local car buyers.
Gainesville's Main Street is home to a range of new and used car dealerships, but recently, most of its lots can be found with a reduced supply. This can be attributed to an unexpected consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic.
It doesn't take much to disrupt the flow.
When the pandemic began, the demand for cars decreased, causing a halt in the production of semiconductor chips. Today, these chips are essential in the manufacturing of modern cars, as they help with navigation and efficiency.
You can build a complete car, but if you don't have that one component, you can't ship it.
With chips still in low supply and the demand for cars back on the rise, sellers are left with low inventory to meet demand. Among them is the Tomlinson Motor Company, a business run by Dady Tomlinson and his family. Tomlinson says before the pandemic, his dealership had about 200 cars for sale. Now, they are down to only 100. Low inventory means new cars are not only harder to find, but are also selling for a higher price, increasing the value of used cars. Now, the job of Justin Carlton, one of the company's buyers, is much more difficult.
Yeah, there's so many hands in the pot right now.
New car dealers and rental businesses are supplementing their stock by buying used cars, creating competition that has left small businesses like Tomlinson's with limited choices.
These franchise dealers, they weren't at the auctions before. They're getting brand new cars. They don't have to worry about that stuff. They're at the auctions as well. We got the rental car companies. They're paying whatever they want for these cars because they're just going to rent them out and they're not really going to lose money.
Every week, Carlton goes to at least 15 car shows looking for cars at a decent price. All the while, Tomlinson works to maintain his company's supply while providing quality, affordable vehicles to its consumers.
When you buy a car, it's a big purchase, but things will drift back down to normal at some point. As far as we're concerned, we just do the best we can.
Nicole Rodriguez, WUFT News.
Volunteers from the UF College of Public Health did yard work this morning at a group home for developmentally challenged adults. The speech-language hearing students expressed their work passion through acts of service today. Once they arrived at the home, the student volunteers paired in two teams. One raked leaves while the other one bagged them. The ARC of Alachua County has 17 group homes embedded in neighborhoods all over Gainesville, housing about 160 adults with developmental disabilities. It's been a pretty cloudy and rainy day today.
I know, I kind of just want to stay inside and watch movies, but is it going to get better, Zoey?
Yeah, it's been so cloudy and rainy outside because we actually have a cold front passing through right now, bringing spotty showers to our area over the past couple of hours. Radar loop from about 3 o'clock onward. Notice beginning to dry out. We saw passing showers earlier towards Stark in most parts of Alachua County, but now most of that activity situated to the south of us. Marion County could see a few more rounds later on. Gorgeous looking pictures to that side of campus, but looking over towards Ben Hill, a little bit cloudier. Sunshine trying to peek through. Temperatures sitting in the low 70s as of right now across our area. Marion County sitting a little bit warmer because that rain hasn't hit just yet. As for the rest of the evening, mostly cloudy skies all throughout the rest of tonight, and temperatures dwindling down into the 50s overnight. I'll have more on the rest of the forecast coming up later.
A doctor at UF Health Leesburg faces misdemeanor charges of striking an unresponsive patient. The doctor faces 3 misdemeanor battery charges for causing the patient to slap herself. The doctor was overheard saying he thought the victim was faking her low alert level. Coworkers told police there's a test to drop someone's hand over their face to see if they avoid the slap. Police were told this went too far and looked like forced slaps with the patient trying to resist.
A West Palm Beach police officer is now charged with battery for an arrest 3 years ago. Police were answering a grocery store's call about a drunk man refusing to leave. The suspect's lawyer later recovered security footage, which eventually led to an FDLE investigation. The victim, a man in his 60s, was punched nearly a dozen times by Officer Nicholas Lordy. Lordy originally claimed he used force because the man tried to take another officer's weapon. We have more from national politics when we come back.
Plus, how the government avoided a shutdown. And we'll tell you about a crucial trip for Kamala Harris. That's all coming up after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The U.S. Senate passes a short-term funding plan to avoid a partial government shutdown. The president has already signed it. With a 65-27 vote, the Senate approved funding the government at current levels through March 11th. That gives another 3 weeks for negotiators to try to wrap up a broader spending plan for the rest of the fiscal year. Leaders of both parties say they're narrowing in on a deal.
The world will remember. That's the warning the U.S. Secretary of State leveled at Russia in case it invades Ukraine. The Biden administration has shifted diplomatic talks into high gear in an all-out effort to prevent a war. NBC's Bree Jackson is on Capitol Hill with details.
Happen within the next several days.
Mounting urgency as President Biden says there's evidence Russia is moving toward an imminent invasion.
Every indication we have is they're prepared to go into Ukraine, attack Ukraine.
The Biden administration also accusing Russia of staging a false flag operation to justify going in.
It could be a fabricated so-called terrorist bombing inside Russia, the invented discovery of a mass grave, a staged drone strike against civilians.
Russia's ambassador to the UN says the accusations are baseless and insists that Russia has no plans to attack. This as the Russian Defense Ministry releases more video of what it says shows troops pulling back from Ukraine's borders. U.S. officials dispute those claims. Today's security conference in Munich will address the conflict.
We are also committed, if Russia takes aggressive action, to ensuring there will be severe consequence.
Another warning sign, a rise in shelling along the front line. Both sides pointing the finger after a kindergarten was damaged. Police releasing this video of children being evacuated to safety. Also on Thursday, Moscow expelled the second most senior diplomat from the U.S. Embassy in Russia. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin continuing the diplomatic push while in Poland today.
The United States, in lockstep with our allies and partners, including Poland, has offered Mr. Putin a path away from crisis and towards greater security.
The U.S. urging Russia to come to the negotiating table with hopes of preventing a war. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
The Ukraine crisis provides a tense backdrop for Kamala Harris as she travels to Europe. Harris is headed to Germany to lead the American delegation to the Munich Security Conference. She will meet with Ukraine's president for the first time. Harris will also meet the German Chancellor, Baltic state leaders, and NATO's Secretary General.
After a gloomy day today here in North Central Florida, I hope the weekend won't be like today.
Yeah, that's actually because a cold front is moving through our area. Looks like tomorrow could be better. I'm still missing the sunshine. A cold front brought some rain today, but it could clear out just in time for the weekend. Up next, Zoey Robinson joins us again with her full forecast.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
After a little bit of a gloomy and chilly day outside, that's all thanks to this cold front that's actually passing through our area right now. We saw a few showers earlier in the day, but as of right now, looking not the best still. Mostly cloudy skies, especially off to our west. Temperatures sitting in the mid-70s here on campus. And with that, temperatures continuing on throughout the rest of the evening, cooling down as we slowly head towards sunset. Still a little warmer though down in Marion County, where those showers haven't quite passed through yet. It was a bit windier earlier in the day. We were seeing about 20 miles an hour. Right now though, beginning to quiet down as that cold front really begins to push through. Future radar, we're clearing out all the way through the rest of the evening, so looking great from here on out. Mostly cloudy skies all the way through dinner time and into the overnight hours. Temperatures dropping into the upper 60s past dinner time and then slowly cooling off past that as we head into tomorrow morning. Across our area, sitting in about the low 50s for some areas. Could see a little bit chillier temperatures closer towards the I-10 corridor. Down in Marion County, closer towards the upper 50s, low 60s possible. But we're in for a great weekend. Lots of sunshine on the backside of that cold front. Comfortable morning. It's a little chilly, but still really pleasant in my opinion. Warming up though as we head through the rest of the afternoon. Like I mentioned, lots of sunshine. So great day to head outside. Not only tomorrow, but also on Sunday, a little bit warmer. That's because we'll see a gradual warming trend. And with that, a little bit more cloudier just for some increasing moisture. But fantastic weekend if you wanted to head outside. Like I said, we'll see a gradual warming trend all the way starting Sunday and continuing onwards. That's because we'll have a ridge of high pressure building in across our area. And with high pressure in the upper levels of our atmosphere, that attributes to warmer conditions here at the surface. Looking ahead, pleasant conditions through the weekend. High pressure building in on Monday. Like I mentioned, that's going to attribute to seeing the mid-80s in midweek. I know it's still winter, but yes, we'll be seeing the 80s again. As for drought conditions, over to the west parts of our country, some areas are seeing moderate to severe drought conditions. Here at home, though, basically from Tallahassee, Jacksonville, all the way southward and west along the Gulf Coast, abnormally dry conditions are present. So we're definitely in need for some rain, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're getting rain anytime soon. If you have Monday off for President's Day, it's a great 3-day weekend ahead. Lots of sunshine all the way throughout. Saturday, mostly cloudy in the morning, like as that cold front's still passing through, but later on in the afternoon, great conditions. Temperatures warming up into the mid-80s all the way through Wednesday. Like I mentioned, no rain on the forecast, looking like a great day. Now back to the desk.
Springtime is approaching, which means Gator Baseball is here.
Both baseball and softball will see action tonight. Softball is undefeated so far, but is hosting a tournament challenge. Stay with us, sports is next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. I'm Alexa Harley with your look at sports. The Florida ballpark lights will shine again tonight as Gator Baseball opens their season against Liberty. Hunter Barco will get the call for the Gators on the hill. Last season, Barco went 10-3. Florida did make a postseason run last year, but were eliminated at home in an NCAA regional. Tonight begins the 2022 campaign, where the Gators will look to make another trip to Omaha. The first game of the 3-game series against Liberty starts tonight. First pitch is at 7. And speaking of baseball, the MLB announced that spring training will be postponed until March 5th. Staying on the diamond, Gator softball also has an action-packed weekend playing in the T-Mobile tournament. The Gators sit undefeated with a 6-0 record so far this season after beating Jacksonville on Wednesday. Florida hosts the tournament, playing number 14 Duke tonight at 6. They continue action tomorrow against Villanova and Louisville and will conclude play Sunday, taking on Florida A&M. Gator Gymnastics is on the road tonight facing another SEC foe. Florida travels to face number 10 Kentucky. The Gators climbed to number 2 after defeating LSU last week. Tonight's meet between the Wildcats and the Gators starts at 6. Florida women's basketball has been on quite the hot streak lately, climbing into the top 25 as well as taking down opponent after opponent. Beating Arkansas yesterday, the Gators got their 20th win of the year. Head coach Kelly Rae Finley sung her team's praises after their win over Arkansas.
I think that we played both sides of the ball very well tonight. I thought we got a little tight, and that was probably due to me in the fourth quarter late. But Arkansas is a really talented team that has a tremendous ability to shoot the ball. And so as long as there's any time left on the clock, you gotta be on it defensively.
The Gators will be back in action Sunday, playing at nationally ranked LSU. Finally, Florida men's basketball has a huge matchup tomorrow when number 2 Auburn comes to town. The two teams met back in January, where the Gators fell to the Tigers 85-73. Auburn has not won in Gainesville since 1996. A Gator win puts them at 7-7 in SEC play and perhaps moves them back into a contention for a possible NCAA tournament berth. And I know we got some bad news out of the MLB today with spring training being postponed, but we do have Gator Baseball.
I know, and I gotta say, I'm excited to see how this younger team really pulls it together.
Yeah, I personally always have faith in the Gators. Anyway, now to Ariana Psarakos with our entertainment segment.
My name is Ariana Psarakos, and welcome back to Entertainment News. Today, I'm gonna fill you in on a new documentary, tour, and upcoming awards. Now that Olivia Rodrigo has her driver license, she takes us behind the wheel of her songwriting process in her upcoming documentary. The singer announced on Instagram that Disney Plus is honoring her with a concert film called Driving Home to You. In the film, we will see the making of her #1 album, Sour. Rodrigo is nominated for 7 Grammy Awards, including Record, Album, and Song of the Year. She is familiar with the spotlight, having starred in the High School Musical spin-off series and an American Girl doll movie. Viewers can stream Driving Home to You exclusively on Disney Plus starting March 25th. Award season is approaching, and the Academy has announced its hosts. Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer are this year's hosts for the 94th Oscar ceremony. The Oscars have not had a host since 2018, when Jimmy Kimmel took the stage. The Academy announced that people can vote for their favorite film of the year on Twitter. All you have to do is tweet using the hashtag OscarsFanFavorite by March 3rd. This is the first time the general public is allowed to vote for the Oscars. For a trip down memory lane, we take you back to Abbey Road for some exciting news. Paul McCartney just announced he is coming to America for a new tour. The 79-year-old's Got Back Tour is a 13-show tour that will kickstart in Spokane, Washington this spring. Do not worry, the tour will come to Orlando on May 28th at the Camping World Stadium. McCartney released his latest solo album, McCartney 3, in 2020. Tickets will go live February 25th, so mark your calendars. I am Ariana Psarakos, and that wraps up today's dose of entertainment news.
Thanks, Ariana. It's finally Friday, and wine lovers know what that means.
It's time to get a glass, and especially today, National Drink Wine Day. Fermented grapes have been a part of human tradition for thousands of years. The idea behind this celebration is to promote the love and health benefits of wine. Wine can reduce some risks of heart disease and enhance food recipes. Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Well, after a little bit of a gloomy day today, I'm expecting better conditions as we head throughout the next week. That's all thanks to a ridge of high pressure building in. With high pressure in the upper levels of our atmosphere, it actually allows for warmer conditions at the surface, and that's making for great weather all the way through next week. Little rain, lots of sunshine rather, especially for this 3-day weekend. Temperatures climbing up back into the mid-80s, well above normal for this time of year. Now, back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.